Hi, and welcome to this week's Research Roundup, where I'll be giving you the lowdown on the newest research and ways you can use these findings to beef up your mentally healthy journey. You're listening to How to Change Your Life One Step at a Time with me, Katie Woodland. Tune in every week so that you can use tried and tested tips, tricks and hacks to start living the life you want right now. We've got 4 great bits of research to whiz through this week, and if you want to learn more about any of them, the links are in the show notes below. So first, we're going to swing into the power pose debate. So you may have heard about Amy Cuddy's TED Talk, where she talked about power posing and the impact this has on your ability to feel powerful and therefore enable you to do things you may have previously avoided because it was scary. For example, if you were about to go into a job interview, ducking into the loo for 2 minutes to strike a Wonder Woman pose would help you feel more confident about your chances. Well, in 2017, there was a meta-analysis which looked at 33 different studies into power posing, and they literally came out and poo-pooed the whole idea. Amy Cuddy, very much like Wonder Woman, was not put off by this in the slightest, and in fact has come back fighting. Having just conducted a 54-study analysis, she and her team have once again proving that striking a power pose can indeed help you feel more powerful. They have, however, reduced how awesome the effects might be with regards to other areas, and in particular how effective power posing is on altering someone's behaviour, but it definitely does get your emotional mojo going. So having tried this method myself, as all good scientists do, I am firmly in the Cuddy camp and say go for it. If standing with your hands on your hips and your back straight helps you feel more confident, and this then pumps awesomeness hormones around your system. Okay, so awesomeness hormones are not technically a real thing, but feeling awesome does trigger serotonin, which is a real hormone and is responsible for making you feel good. Anyways, if you feel more confident and then act straight away, then actually this has changed your behaviour. So if you're struggling with stress, depression or anxiety, then definitely put this simple, quick and powerful method into your mentally healthy toolbox. The 2 poses which I found to be the most helpful are the Wonder Woman, which is hands on hips and standing up tall, and the Victor pose, which is when you stand with your hands in the air just as though you've beaten Mo Farah to the finish line. So next we're going to cover how sitting curled up on the sofa each night and binge watching soaps may do more than just increase your waistline, but also may have some pretty negative consequences on your personality and your mental health. So a study looked at the personalities of over 6,000 participants for over a 20-year period. Each time the participants completed a personality test and stated how much exercise they did. They found that those participants who shirked exercise were much more likely to have a negative personality shift over those 20 years. So their extroversion, which is how sociable and outgoing somebody is, their agreeableness, which is how warm, fuzzy and friendly somebody is, their conscientiousness, which is how careful or vigilant somebody is when they're doing a task, and their openness to experience, which is how kind of curious and imaginative somebody is, they all went down quite dramatically. In fact, the only one which didn't go down was an individual's level of neuroticism, and this is how likely somebody is to experience anxiety, depression, anger and feeling lonely. Now, while the study only talks about personality, you and I can clearly see the glaringly obvious link between personality and mental illness. In fact, when people come on board for my intensive holistic therapy program, we always do a mental health screening and a personality screening. Now, as they go through the program, their personality shifts dramatically as they become more mentally healthy. Now, anyways, the study highlighted that regularly undertaking moderate levels of exercise enables you to have higher levels of extroversion and agreeableness. Now, this is key to a mentally healthy life. We are social creatures, and being able to be friendly when we're in the company of others ensures we get to keep our circle of friends. So don't panic if you have opted for a lazy lifestyle thus far. You can literally change your future by opting to do something from now on. Simply by supercharging your lifestyle, you can positively affect your personality and mental health. Exercise is one of the core features of the intensive holistic therapy program, because while this research says what you do today can positively affect you over time, I know getting into a 30-minute, 3 times a week routine will have you physically feeling different in a few weeks. So if you're struggling with your mental health, then you really need to plan in and stick to this one thing to see rapid and quite dramatic positive shifts. Forget exercising for that beach body. Exercise to feel amazing, and the beach body, well, that's just an added perk. Okay, so next we're going to see whether you really can trick yourself and your teenagers into becoming more intelligent. So just over 12,500 ninth grade students, so that is teenagers between the ages of 14 and 15, were split into 2 groups. One watched videos on the malleability of the brain, so more specifically the fact that you can literally rewire it, change it and make it more awesome if you want to. And the other group just learned a little about how the brain works, but not about their ability to influence or increase its ability. What they found was astronomical. The students who had watched what they call the growth mindset videos went on to achieve higher grades than predicted than those who watched the regular brain videos. But more astonishingly, those students who were struggling saw an even more dramatic increase in their grade outcome. However, they also noticed that students in schools which were underperforming had a massive increase in grade outcome. Students in performing schools didn't quite see a huge grade shift, but were more likely to choose difficult or more challenging options the next year. The schools where the culture was out of alignment with the growth mindset method had little impact. So this means that unless the school adopts a new ethos in line with being able to do anything we set our minds to, regardless of our backgrounds, then the students don't get the opportunity to expand and they can't see the same level of impact. So in all reality, this is very much like earlier work on expectations, but the difference is now that neuropsychology and neuroscience has caught up with the research into brain plasticity. So I have been lucky enough to witness this impact firsthand. So for 3.5 years, I was a governor at a primary school in the local area. So this school is situated in the bottom 10% with regards to socio-economic standing. But bucking all trends by being consistently in the top 10% of academic performance. So simply because the school take no prisoners, no excuses, and expect all of their pupils to achieve. The vast majority of their pupils enter way below age-related expectations, and by the end, they are vastly outperforming children from the most advantaged backgrounds. What you believe about a situation is what will show up for you. If you believe you can't do better, you can't change, and you can never achieve what you want, you genuinely never will. If, however, you make one shift and you choose right now to believe you can do whatever, achieve whatever, and be whomever you want, you will start to seek out the help you need and make it so. So then, what do you choose to do with the rest of your life? Okay, so finally, we're going to roll back the years and find out if our childhood friend helped or hindered our intelligence. So hundreds of families in the US took part in this piece of research, which showed Intelligence scores at age 15 were correlated with the IQ of their best friend at age 11. So this means if you were busy mates with a super genius at 11, then they will have given your IQ a boost. So as this is new and emerging research, more does need to be investigated to weed out any little niggles, but it also shows promise. And to all those helicopter mums out there who handpicked their child's friends because they knew their child needed a positive influence, you can go and say, I told you so to all those who gave you a hard time, and give yourselves a well-deserved pat on the back. So while we can't jump in our time machine and head back to our 11-year-old self to make better friend choices, don't forget what we just heard. You can change right now, regardless of what has happened in your past. All the IQ in the world at age 15 doesn't help your 29, 39 or 40-year-old self if you then chose to sit on your bum and do nothing with it. So I hope you've enjoyed this week's research roundup and have found it helpful on your mentally healthy journey. So don't forget to subscribe so that you never miss an episode. And if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed right now or think you could do with a little help, use the link below to book your free therapy session with me so that you know which is the right next step for you to take on your mentally healthy journey. Have a great weekend and catch up with you soon.